Welcome back to yet another SBR video, college football picks against the spread, week 10. I'm your host, Bouchard. Unfortunately, last week we did not get the results that we were hoping for, and that now brings our official season record to 52.5%. Obviously, that's not where we can be, but for lack of better terms, it's still not a totally bad record. We're still profitable, we're still locked and loaded, and this week we're going to be cashing. So without further ado, guys, our first official team that we're going to be backing up here in week 10 is going to be a run-heavy offense team in Army, plus 7 points on the road against yet another run-heavy offensive team in Air Force. This one should be rather close. The fact that we're getting plus 7 points here, the fact that I feel like Ahmad Bradshaw is going to lead Army to a victory outright here, I love the value here, right? Anytime that you have two run-heavy offensive teams, it's tough for either or of the teams to win by a large amount of points. So when I mash up all this information that I have, mainly the fact that I feel like Army's even the better team here. They can win outright. So our first official play here, we're going to be backing up Army plus 7. Next up, we're going to be backing up some road dogs plus 2.5 points in the Stanford Cardinal. They're on the road. They're going to be taking on a struggling Washington State Cougars team. And yes, Luke Falk is an amazing quarterback, but the Cougars in general, they have not looked so hot over the last couple weeks. Whereas Stanford, they're starting to heat up, guys. Last week, they didn't even have Bryce Love, and they still looked pretty good to me. Bryce Love's going to be looking to get himself back into the Heisman picture after not playing at all last week. So mash that all up together, and we're getting plus points. It's a road game, and it's tough to win college football road games. But our second official play, we're going to be backing up the Stanford Cardinal. Next up, guys, we are not going to be buying into the hype of NC State. We're actually going to be taking the road favorites in the reigning national championship team in the Clemson Tigers, minus 7. Looking into this one, Dabo Swinney, he wants to solidify the fact that the committee put him in the top 4. I feel like that's going to be major motivation for the Tigers in general to play an amazing football game. And like I said, I just don't buy into the hype of NC State. Yes, they're good, but they're not Clemson Tiger great. So that's right, guys. We're going to be backing up Clemson at minus 7. Next up, we got the Battle of Oklahoma, and at least in my opinion, the two best, most NFL-ready quarterbacks that I've seen in a very long time coming out of college football, and that being Oklahoma's Baker Mayfield and Oklahoma State's Mason Rudolph. This game should be an absolute shootout. Both quarterbacks are going to try to outduel each other and obviously put up some big numbers. However, Oklahoma, their defense isn't so hot. Match that up with the fact that Mason Rudolph has a cannon of an arm and probably the best wide receiver in college football. I feel like that's going to be the main advantage here. Oklahoma's defense just hasn't really impressed me whatsoever. And I mean, Oklahoma State, right? They're still not out of that playoff picture. A big win will definitely propel them. This is a big game. They're at home. We're going to be taking the minus 2.5 point spread. I feel like that's very favorable. So without further ado, guys, we're going to be taking Oklahoma State Cowboys, just like we've been doing for most of these videos. Next up is our first official Big Ten matchup of this weekend's video picks. We're going to be backing up Penn State minus 7.5 on the road against, at least in my opinion, a team who hasn't looked so hot, in the Michigan State Spartans. Yes, the Spartans, they've looked good, but they've also looked bad at times. Guys, last week, Aloma, big Buckeyes fan, Penn State they blew it. I mean, I really don't know how else to put that. So that's obviously going to be in their minds. They're a great football team, right? I mean, they still put up 38 points in a heartbreaking loss there. I feel like James Franklin, he's going to be ready. So the Nittany Lions. Saquon Barkley wants to kind of build upon his Heisman resume. And I mean, playoffs are just around the corner, so this will be a huge win for the Nittany Lions. This point spread's just a bit too small for me here, so we're going to be backing up the Penn State Nittany Lions. Staying in the Big Ten, we're also going to be looking to back up a team whose schedule has been very weak, but they should cover the spread. That's Wisconsin minus 13.5 on the road against Indiana. Like I said, guys, their schedule has not been very good, but they're still in the college football playoff picture, and they know that they have to win outright. This is a very winnable game for them. I feel like their offense is just way too strong. Their defense should get the job done. 13.5 points will not be enough for Indiana to cover even at home. So let's back up the Wisconsin Badgers. And our last official play here in Week 10 of college football picks against the spread, we're going to be backing up the Ohio State Buckeyes. Last week was an amazing comeback win. JT Barrett looked flawless, and that also marks the 6th consecutive week where the Buckeyes have put up over 500 yards of total offense. And that was actually against the #1 ranked defense within the nation. So clearly the offense is rolling. It might be just too overwhelming for Iowa to stop. And I get it. I mean, they realize this is a big game, and they have knocked off big opponents at home. But I mean, Urban Meyer, he was so excited after that victory, come from behind, right? The AP poll put him #3, and then the committee puts him at #6. So he knows that this is going to be a big game, and he has to prove that the Buckeyes are willing and able to be a great college football contender, right? I mean, last time we saw what they did with that big, huge loss, actually, to Clemson in the college football semifinals. So, I mean, this is a statement game. I feel like the Buckeyes are just going to blow them out of the water, 21 points or more. Maybe it's another one where they win by 40. But without further ado, guys, back up the Ohio State. And there you guys have it, 7 official plays here in Week 10 college football picks against the spread to get us back on track. So for everyone who has been watching my videos since day one, definitely appreciate it. I know that there's always some comments out there, right, saying that I can be doing better, which is true, and that's also what I vow to do for the rest of the season. We'll get back up to 60%, but for now, keep cashing.